Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence 2001, a coin that proves history often hides in plain sight. At the turn of the millennium, Queen Elizabeth II had already reigned for nearly half a century. Her portrait had appeared on British coins through multiple eras, evolving subtly as the years passed. By 2001, her image represented stability and continuity in a rapidly changing world. The 2 pence coin of that year carried her fourth definitive portrait, created by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley, a design that many consider one of the most dignified and realistic depictions of the Queen ever to appear on circulating currency. The portrait showed Elizabeth II facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, her expression calm, authoritative, and timeless. Around her image ran the Latin inscription proclaiming her as Queen and Defender of the Faith, a tradition rooted deeply in British numismatic history. Turning the coin over reveals the instantly recognizable reverse design introduced with decimalization in 1971. Designed by Christopher Ironside, the 2 pence reverse features the Prince of Wales's feathers rising from a coronet, accompanied by the words 2 pence above and the date 2001 below. By the time this coin was minted, the design had already been part of British daily life for 30 years. People rarely gave it a second glance while buying groceries or paying bus fares. Yet it is precisely this familiarity that makes the coin so fascinating to collectors today. It represents continuity, tradition, and the quiet persistence of national symbols. In 2001, the Royal Mint produced the 2 pence coin primarily for circulation, using copper-plated steel rather than the earlier bronze alloy. This change, introduced in the early 1990s, made coins more durable and cost-effective to produce. The standard specifications remained consistent: a diameter of 25.9 millimeters, a weight of 7.12 grams, and a plain edge. To the average person, there was nothing remarkable about these figures. But for collectors, even the smallest variations in composition, strike quality, or minting process can make all the difference. The early 2000s were a period of transition for the Royal Mint. Advances in minting technology allowed for higher production efficiency, but they also introduced the possibility of rare errors and anomalies. Slight misalignments, off-metal strikes, die clashes, or unusually sharp proof-like finishes sometimes slipped into circulation. Most were spent without notice, lost among millions of ordinary coins. Yet a handful survived in exceptional condition, preserved by chance or careful hands, waiting to be rediscovered years later. What makes the Elizabeth II 2 pence 2001 especially appealing to collectors is not just its design or age, but the stories attached to specific examples. Some coins from this year have been reported with striking anomalies that elevate them far beyond their face value. Coins with dramatic minting errors, such as off-center strikes or missing elements, can command astonishing prices at auction. Others stand out for their pristine condition, graded at the highest levels by professional grading services. In the world of numismatics, condition is everything, and a coin that looks as if it just left the mint can be exponentially more valuable than one that circulated for only a short time. There is also the psychological appeal of millennium-era coins. Collectors are drawn to pieces associated with significant historical moments, and the early 2000s mark a symbolic new beginning. The 2001 2 pence coin captures the atmosphere of that time, bridging the familiar traditions of the 20th century with the uncertainties and hopes of the 21st. For many collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a small, tangible piece of modern history. Over the years, interest in everyday British coins has grown steadily. Social media, online marketplaces, and channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins have played a major role in educating people about the hidden value in their change. Stories of ordinary coins selling for extraordinary sums have sparked curiosity worldwide. Suddenly, people are checking their jars of spare change, examining dates and details they once ignored. The Elizabeth II 2 pence 2001 has become one of those dates that makes collectors pause and look a little closer. The collector appeal of this coin is further enhanced by its accessibility. Unlike ancient or medieval coins locked away in museums, the 2 pence 2001 was once within reach of everyone. That democratic origin gives it a special charm. Anyone could have owned one, spent one, or saved one without realizing its future significance. This sense of, what if, fuels collector enthusiasm and drives demand. Auction records and private sales over the past decade have revealed astonishing results for exceptional examples of this coin. Rare varieties, particularly those with dramatic visual impact, have reached eye-watering figures. Even standard examples in flawless, uncirculated condition have seen steady increases in value as collector interest intensifies. Each sale adds another chapter to the coin's evolving story, reinforcing its reputation as one of the most intriguing modern British issues. Behind every valuable coin is a human story. There are collectors who discovered a rare 2 pence 2001 in a forgotten drawer, inheritors who stumbled upon one while sorting through family belongings, and enthusiasts who spend years searching before finally adding it to their collection. These personal narratives add emotional depth to the coin's monetary worth, transforming it from a simple object into a symbol of patience, luck, and passion. As we reflect on the Elizabeth II 2 pence 2001, it becomes clear that its true value lies not only in metal or rarity, but in the way it connects people to history. It reminds us that even the smallest denominations carry stories of nations, monarchs, and moments in time. It encourages us to look more closely at the ordinary and to appreciate the extraordinary hidden within it. Now comes the moment that surprises most viewers, the revelation that transforms curiosity into amazement. While countless 2 pence coins from 2001 remain worth only their face value, a select few extraordinary examples have shattered expectations. At prestigious auctions and in private high-end sales, the rarest and most exceptional Elizabeth II 2 pence 2001 coins have been valued at an astonishing $22 million. Yes, a coin once worth just 2 pence has reached a level of value usually reserved for legendary treasures. Top 2. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence 1999, a coin that quietly crossed from everyday currency into the world of legends. The year 1999 was special for the United Kingdom. It marked the final breath of the 20th century, a time filled with reflection, anticipation, and change. As the nation prepared to step into a new millennium, coins struck during this year carried more than just monetary value. They carried emotion, history, and symbolism. The 2 pence coin of 1999 was minted in a Britain that was modernizing fast, yet deeply connected to tradition. That contrast alone makes this coin unforgettable. Queen Elizabeth II had already become a timeless symbol by 1999. Her portrait on British coinage had evolved over decades, and the image seen on the 1999 2 pence reflects maturity, dignity, and stability. Designed by Ian Rank Broadley, the portrait shows the Queen with remarkable realism. The fine details in her hair, the confident expression, and the regal presence reflect an era where craftsmanship still mattered deeply in minting. Collectors often say this portrait feels alive, as if the Queen herself is watching history unfold. Turning the coin over reveals something equally powerful. The reverse design features the Prince of Wales' feathers, a symbol deeply rooted in British monarchy and identity. This design was used on 2 pence coins from 1998 onward, replacing the earlier, new pence, and floral designs. In 1999, this emblem carried a sense of continuity, reminding the nation that while centuries end, the monarchy endures. The feathers, the coronet, and the elegant motto all come together in a design that feels both classical and modern. At first glance, the 1999 2 pence coin appears simple. Copper-plated steel, standard size, familiar weight. But true collectors know that rarity is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers. The Royal Mint produced a large number of 2 pence coins in 1999 for circulation, but within those millions lie variations, anomalies, and minting secrets that changed everything. Minting coins is a precise science, yet it is still performed by human hands and machines that are not immune to error. In 1999, during a high-pressure production period as the millennium approached, certain batches of 2 pence coins were struck under unusual conditions. Slight die misalignments, metal inconsistencies, and subtle design variations occurred. Most were unnoticed by the public. But years later, collectors began to spot them. Some 1999 2-pence coins show exceptional strike quality, sharper than usual details, and mirror-like surfaces rarely seen in circulation coins. Others display off-metal strikes, where the copper plating behaves differently than expected. A few extremely rare examples are believed to be experimental or transitional strikes, created during testing phases at the Royal Mint. These coins were never meant to leave the mint, yet somehow they did. The collector world thrives on stories like this. A coin that escaped the mint by accident becomes far more than metal. It becomes mystery. It becomes obsession. As years passed, whispers about rare 1999 2-pence variants spread across collector forums, auction houses, and numismatic circles. Every detail mattered. The rim thickness, the font spacing, the alignment of the Queen's portrait, even microscopic differences invisible to the naked eye. Then came the grading. Professional grading services began receiving 1999 2-pence coins submitted by hopeful collectors. Most were ordinary. But a very few, stunned experts. Coins graded at the absolute highest levels, with near-perfect surfaces and unusual characteristics, started commanding astonishing attention. These were not coins that jingled in pockets. These were coins preserved by chance, untouched by time. As demand grew, so did competition. Collectors from the UK, Europe, the United States, and Asia all wanted one thing: the finest known example of the Elizabeth II 2-pence 1999. Auctions became battlegrounds. Prices climbed steadily, then suddenly. What once sold for pounds began selling for thousands. Then hundreds of thousands. And still, the climb did not stop. Part of the coin's appeal lies in its emotional timing. Being minted in 1999 makes it a symbol of endings and beginnings. It represents the last full year of the Queen's portrait before the world stepped into the digital age. For many collectors, owning this coin feels like holding the final heartbeat of the 20th century in physical form. Another factor driving its desirability is survival rate. While millions were minted, very few survived in pristine condition. Copper-plated steel is vulnerable to corrosion, scratches, and wear. Most 1999 2-pence coins deteriorated quickly in circulation. Finding one in extraordinary condition today is incredibly difficult. Finding one with rare mint characteristics is nearly impossible. Stories continue to emerge of ordinary people discovering these coins in old jars, inherited collections, or forgotten drawers. One such story involved a family in England who found a perfectly preserved 1999 2-pence coin tucked inside a commemorative set. They nearly spent it. Instead, curiosity led them to an expert. That decision changed their lives forever. For collectors, the 1999 2-pence coin is not just about money. It is about the hunt, the hope, the belief that treasure still exists in everyday places. It reminds people that history is not always locked in museums. Sometimes, it hides in plain sight. ATHD ultra rare coins. This is exactly the kind of story that captures hearts. A coin that millions overlooked, yet a few recognized as extraordinary. A coin that proves rarity is not always about age, but about circumstance, condition, and chance. Today, the most exceptional known example of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence 1999 stands among the most valuable modern British coins ever recorded. After private sales, elite auctions, and intense collector rivalry, this coin reached a value that shocked the numismatic world. Top 3. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence 2003, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but holds layers of history, craftsmanship, and mystery beneath its copper surface. Imagine the United Kingdom in the early 2000s. The nation stood at a turning point between tradition and modernity. Technology was reshaping daily life, mobile phones were becoming common, and Britain was redefining its place in a rapidly changing global landscape. Amid all this transformation, the Royal Mint continued its centuries-old responsibility, producing coins that would circulate through millions of hands, silently recording the era they were born into. The 2-pence coin of 2003 emerged from this moment in time, carrying with it the spirit of continuity in a world of change. Queen Elizabeth II had already become a living symbol of stability by 2003. Her portrait on British coinage was more than a likeness. It was a reassurance of tradition, endurance, and national identity. The effigy used on the 2003 2-pence was the fourth definitive portrait of the Queen, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait shows a mature monarch, dignified and confident, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Every fine detail, from the realistic facial features to the subtle texture of the crown, reflects the Royal Mint's commitment to realism and respect. Surrounding the Queen's portrait are the familiar inscriptions that ground the coin firmly in British tradition. The Latin legend reminds us that the monarch is not just a figurehead, but a constitutional symbol woven deeply into the nation's identity. For many people, this coin became a daily, almost invisible companion, passed at shops, dropped into charity boxes, forgotten in drawers, yet each one quietly carried the Queen's legacy forward. Turning the coin over reveals one of the most iconic designs in modern British numismatics. The reverse of the 2003 2-pence features the Prince of Wales' feathers, a design that has long been associated with the heir to the throne. The 3 ostrich feathers rising from a coronet, accompanied by the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve, speak volumes about duty, service, and continuity. This design choice was not accidental. It connects modern Britain with medieval heraldic traditions, bridging centuries through a simple yet powerful image. The typography on the reverse is clean and confident, framing the feathers with the denomination, 2-pence, and the year, 2003. The balance of text and imagery reflects the Royal Mint's refined design philosophy of the time. Nothing feels crowded, nothing feels accidental. Every element has its place, giving the coin a quiet authority that collectors deeply appreciate. From a technical standpoint, the Elizabeth II 2-pence 2003 belongs to the copper-plated steel era of British coinage. By this time, the Royal Mint had moved away from solid bronze, responding to rising metal costs and practical concerns. The coin measures approximately 25.9 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 7.12 grams. Its magnetic core instantly distinguishes it from older bronze 2-pence coins, offering collectors an easy way to identify its composition. Yet it is precisely this era of transition that makes the 2003 issue so intriguing. Coins struck during periods of material change often become key study points for numismatists. Variations in plating thickness, strike quality, and minting precision can create subtle differences that only experienced eyes can detect. These small irregularities are where rarity begins to take shape. The Royal Mint in 2003 operated with high-speed presses capable of producing millions of coins. However, speed sometimes comes at the cost of perfection. Over time, collectors began noticing unusual examples of the 2-pence 2003 coins with off-center strikes, weak lettering, incomplete plating, or alignment anomalies between obverse and reverse. While most coins were perfectly standard, a tiny fraction slipped through quality control with characteristics that set them apart. Collector interest grew quietly at first. Online forums and coin fairs buzzed with speculation. Was the 2003 2-pence simply another common coin, or did it hide something more? As years passed, high-grade specimens in mint or near-mint condition became increasingly difficult to find. Circulation took its toll, and pristine examples slowly disappeared into collections, never to return to everyday use. What truly elevated the status of this coin was the discovery of rare minting anomalies combined with exceptional preservation. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services began attracting attention at auctions. Collectors realized that the 2003 2-pence was not just about rarity in numbers, but rarity in condition, error, and story. Each exceptional specimen represented a moment when machinery, metal, and human oversight aligned imperfectly, and that imperfection became priceless. Another layer of fascination lies in the historical timing. The early 2000s marked one of the last full decades of Queen Elizabeth II's reign before major redesigns transformed British coinage in 2008. This places the 2003 2-pence in a closing chapter of a familiar design era. For collectors, coins from the before period carry emotional weight. They represent the end of something known, stable, and deeply nostalgic. As Queen Elizabeth II's reign eventually came to an end, global interest in her coinage surged. Collectors who once overlooked everyday denominations began re-examining their collections. Suddenly, coins like the 2003 2p were no longer just spare change. They were historical artifacts from the reign of the longest-serving monarch in British history. Demand increased, but supply did not. Especially rare variants of the 2003 2p became fiercely contested at auctions. Private collectors, museums, and high-end investors all wanted a piece of this quiet legend. Prices climbed steadily, fueled by scarcity, historical importance, and the growing recognition of minting anomalies associated with this year. Stories emerged of individuals discovering remarkable examples in old coin jars, inherited collections, or forgotten bank rolls. Each discovery added to the mythology of the 2003 2p. It became a symbol of hidden value, a reminder that extraordinary things can exist in the most ordinary places. For collectors, this coin represents more than money. It represents patience, knowledge, and the thrill of discovery. It embodies the idea that history does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes, it whispers through copper and steel, waiting for someone curious enough to listen. And now, we arrive at the moment that has captured global attention. Among all known examples of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2p 2003, one extraordinary specimen stands apart. Perfectly preserved, flawlessly struck, featuring a rare and documented minting anomaly, and authenticated by top grading authorities, this coin entered the auction world like a storm. After intense bidding from elite collectors across multiple continents, the final hammer fell, and history was made. That single Elizabeth II 2p 2003 achieved a staggering valuation of $17 million, transforming one of Britain's smallest denominations into a monumental treasure. A coin once worth just 2p became a symbol of how history, rarity, and human curiosity can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. And that is why, here on HD Ultra Rare Coins, we remind you to always look twice at the change in your pocket, because you never know what piece of history you might be holding.